So in September, I will be going off to study. Hi everyone, my name's Imogen, I'm 19 years old and I'm currently on a gap year. However, I won't be on a gap year forever, and in September I am planning to go to university. With my previous video about why I decided to take a gap year, we left it that I deferred my place. However, I actually decided to reapply to university this year. I'm going to talk today about why I decided to reapply, why I didn't just take my deferred place, and where I'm off to and what I'm going to study in September. So the plan for this video is to be, I'm being really careful not explain why in a minute. The plan for this video is to just be a chilled, chatty video. We've just got brand new sofas, which is why I thought I would film here because, you know, may as well show them off. It's not like anyone's coming around to our house at the moment. So I've got myself a cup of hot chocolate, but this hot chocolate on a white sofa is just not going to go down well, so I'm going to leave this on the table. For those of you who haven't seen my last video, I actually applied to Dutch universities last year and unfortunately it just didn't work out. I wasn't able to go there, and if you haven't seen the video explaining all about why that is, then definitely do go and check that out. So then I was looking at whether I wanted to go to university in the UK, and I decided that I didn't really want to rush into a decision, and that's why I decided to take a gap year. To see the whole story about why I took the gap year, again, watch the other video, it explains it in more detail. And just to recap, last year I applied to Bristol, Warwick, Edinburgh, Manchester and Royal Holloway University. However, this year my choices changed greatly. So in my why I decided to take a gap year video, we left it that I had deferred my place to Manchester. I still really liked the course, but I just wasn't sure about rushing into a decision to go to a UK uni so quickly after it all falling through with the Netherlands. Then in early October, I decided I wasn't just going to take my deferred place and I was actually going to reapply. And there are a couple of reasons for this. The first reason was that I really loved being in a family environment. Whilst I was over in Germany, I was au pairing and I thought I'd get really homesick because often when I travelled before, I did get really homesick, but I didn't experience any of that, and I think that was due to being in that kind of close-knit family environment. I'm also really close to my family back at home, particularly my grandma, and so I didn't want to be far away from home because I wanted to be able to get home easily so that I could see them on the weekend during term time. The second reason was because I spoke to a couple of my friends who have gone to big city unis like Leeds or Manchester, and they just had freshers, and they said that the going out culture was like a massive part of the university, and as I've already spoken about in my assumptions video, I'm not really a massive fan of going out. And I know that you can kind of like find your people at all different universities, but I just wasn't really sure about Manchester in some way, and I think that was kind of why. Another reason for reapplying was because I actually wanted to change course. I studied politics at A-level at school and I really enjoyed it, but I found the theoretical sides of that course really unenjoyable and quite difficult, and I know that the university politics courses are often quite theoretical, so I wasn't sure that politics was necessarily the best thing for me to study because I thought it would kill my passion off for something which I really did love. So I was flicking around on UCAS search one day and I was looking for things that had development in the title because I wasn't sure if there were any new courses that were kind of an intersection between geography and politics, which are the two subjects that I studied and really enjoyed at school. I also studied maths, but we just won't talk about maths. I found a course at the London School of Economics, LSE, which sounded really interesting, and it was called Environment and Development, and I kind of went down a bit of a rabbit hole looking at all the courses at LSE, and I also came across their geography course, which I found so interesting. At A-level, I'd got the same grade in geography and in politics and maths, but there was absolutely no way I was doing that at university. But it did make sense for me to consider both geography and politics, and also any courses that linked them both together. I also realised whilst looking at the LSE course that if I went to a university in London, there was a possibility that I could commute to university every day, which would A, save me so much money on accommodation, and it would also mean that I'd be able to spend the time whilst I'm at university with my family. I know that living at home would be most people's idea of hell, but I've been to events in the evening up in London whilst I was at school, and I managed to get back, and that's all been absolutely fine. I don't really like clubbing, so there was no need for me to have accommodation for like 3 or 4 in the morning. I'm also quite independent at home anyway. I do a lot of cooking for myself and I'll sometimes do my own washing and things like that, so it wasn't necessarily like going to live in halls would give me a lot of extra skills that I desperately needed. So long story short, that led to me looking at other universities in London, particularly for geography, because I'd found that this was something that I really wanted to consider. So that's when I came across the King's College London and the University College London, UCL and King's courses for geography, and I decided to apply to both of them. This then left me with 2 spaces left on my UCAS application for this year, and I still wasn't sure whether me deciding to go to a London university or be close to home was just me being a little bit too timid of the whole idea of moving away to university, and whether it was just kind of a spur of the moment decision. And so for that reason I decided to still give myself the option of going to Manchester, because again I still really liked the course. I just wasn't sure about the distance and things like that. So I put down Manchester again on my UCAS for the course called International Disaster Management and Humanitarian Response. My final option was kind of up in the air. I knew that I'd either want to go to a London university or probably Manchester, but I decided that I was going to fill up my space anyway, because you may as well. And I was chatting to my friend who was doing the Global Sustainable Development course at Warwick, and she said she'd really enjoyed it. It sounded really interesting. I'd looked at it online. I thought Warwick's a nice small cosy campus. I've also got a lot of friends from my school who have gone off to Warwick this year, so I thought I would apply to Warwick. However, when I was looking at the entry requirements for this course, it turned out you actually had to write an additional 400-word personal statement for the Global Sustainable Development course, and to be honest, I couldn't really be bothered to put in extra work for a course which I wasn't that fussed about, so I decided that I wasn't going to apply to Warwick, and instead I applied to York University for Global Development. That was really quick. Basically, the reason for York was because by this point I'd visited my friend who was up in York doing psychology, and I just really liked the city. I thought the campus was really nice, so I thought, oh well, I just need something else to fill up my UCAS, so I put York down. Because I was working in Germany, I wasn't actually able to go and visit any of the open days myself, so my parents said that they would go for me. They went up to see LSE and they really liked it. LSE is so difficult to get into, and my grades that I got at A-level were literally just on the entry requirement boundary, as in they wanted AAA and I'd got AAA. So I wasn't sure that I was going to get an offer, and then my backups were kind of UCL and King's, because I had, by this point, it being kind of 6-7 weeks down the line whilst I sorted out personal statements and references before actually sending off my UCAS application, and I'd had time to think through my decision, and I decided that I definitely did want to be in London. Obviously, because I had my grades already, none of my offers were dependent on grades, so I can't tell you well, I mean, you can find the requirements out online if you're interested, but I can't tell you what I was specifically offered. However, I do know the dates of when I got my offer, and maybe if you're waiting on an offer from one of these universities in years to come, this might be quite useful information. So my application went off either late November or really early December, so like we're talking last week of November, first week of December. I then got my offer from York on the 19th of December. On the 13th of January, I got an offer from UCL. Then on the 14th of January, I went off to Nepal, so my mum was sorting out everything back at home for me. On the 22nd of January, I got an offer from King's, and on the 23rd of January, I got my offer from Manchester. So by this point, I'm like, great, I know that I'm definitely going to be going to a university in London. I got my King's and my UCL offer. And then on the 14th of February, on Valentine's Day, I got a message from UCAS saying it'd been updated, and I was like, oh my gosh, because I'd really set my heart on LSE by this point. And thankfully I got an offer at LSE. So in September, I will be going off to LSE to study geography. And here's a little bit of a twist. I'm also going to be doing geography with German, hopefully. I need to do a test in September to assess that my German level is high enough, and given that I haven't really done German for ages, that could be a challenge. But hopefully I will be doing geography with German in September at LSE. I have also since decided to get accommodation in London for my first year. At LSE there is actually the opportunity to share your room with other people, so next year I will be in a triple room, so I'll be sharing with 2 other LSE students. The current plan is to come home at the weekends, get my laundry done for free, get some food, and also to be able to see my grandma, which will be really nice. However, I might meet some amazing friends in London and decide that I want to spend every weekend there. Who knows? But if you do want to find out how I get on in September, then make sure to subscribe down below, turn on the bell notifications so that you know when I'm posting. And if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you are also heading off to university, I really want to know where you're off to, if you don't mind sharing that in the comments down below. So that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time with a new video. Oh my gosh, my foot has gone to sleep to the point where I can't even feel the floor.